Wow, that's not good. What the hell? Hello to the chat. Good afternoon. Easy on the baby oil. What are you talking about, Willis? That's annoying. That's really annoying. $85 viewers? That's pretty good. We're getting more viewers now than when we were in the summer. I'm shorting every bounce. Prisons in the chat. Higher lows. Nate 420. Nate 420. Hold on a second. That's a new account too. Could be banned soon. Got to keep that on my watch list. I already banned Nate last time. Zayu, higher lows, beta buy. That's a throwback. Prison for 20 months says hoping for a bounce. I appreciate the sub. Well, listen, when it's not gonna go straight down. At some point, you're gonna get a bounce. And listen, if the bounce ends up being over 105,000, then you just saw the biggest bear trap in history. Because you've broken bull market indicators that have never been broken before. So if we go back over 105 and the bull market continues, then you just saw something that's never happened before. Which I'm not going to say that it's impossible because I don't know, but I'm not going to come on here telling you that that's what we're looking for. That's the difference. But at some point, there is going to be a bounce. It's just, where do we go first? Does it go down and then bounce, or does it bounce and then go down? Or does it bounce and then go higher? You have to play it by what is the most likely outcome. And I don't know where the Fed meeting is, but I'm pretty sure there was a Fed meeting back here too. Somewhere in December. Hold on. Let me check. It was December 15th. Yeah, that was actually we pumped a little bit after that and then we went down. So, it's just one of those nerve-wracking times and you just have to make your decision. I don't think you need to let anyone pressure you into buying or selling or trading or doing anything. It's your money. You don't owe anyone anything and the market doesn't owe you anything. So if you think we're going to the moon, then you prepare for that. If you don't, you don't. If you're going to be unsure, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to come on here telling me exactly what's going to happen. Nobody cares if you're right or wrong anyway. So just don't lose all your money. If we go back up, we'll get our money back. If we don't, we don't. It's that simple. But don't overcomplicate it. Don't freak out. It's not pretty that we just got two massive sell signals. Even if we bounce here, that's at some point it has to bounce. And the thing that sucks is we're already down 30%. So it's like now if we bounce, we could go up 15%. It looks bullish, but you slam right into the moving average, which that was not present last time, or the time before that, or the time before that. But it was present here. But it doesn't look the same because we didn't go down that low. That's why me personally, I would love if we just went down first and then went up because then we'll know it's a bear market. But when we do this, it's like, to the moon, we're bullish. But I think if we did do this, actually, you might have a small bear market. And we gotta stop doing this too. Like it's gonna look exactly the same as this because it isn't. There's a couple of things that suggest that we could chop around for a little while, which would really suck. But that would be the worst case scenario if we just do this for a while. But then at the same time, if we're still down here in fucking January, then it's over too. So it's almost like you have 2/3 of odds for it to be bearish. If we just sit here and do nothing, it's bearish. If we go down, it's bearish. The only way that it's bullish is if we get back over 105,000. The reason I say that is because if you start looking at other indicators, they do suggest we can't really go that low. I'm gonna call this the goo channel, the goo indicator, and if you look at it, we're already below the 4-day. That has never happened this entire bull market. But if you look at the other cycles, you pretty much bottomed in 2022 and in 2018. So we have to be open to the market showing us something that we have not seen before. We can't come on here saying, yo, this is exactly what it's going to look like and there's nothing you can do about it. But again, I would make the argument that even if we did do nothing and we just floated around, like think about this for a second. Let's talk about a possibility here. If we do this and we just float down here and it's January and we're still at 95K, are we really going to be saying to the moon? I don't think that would be good. And I also hate that, again, if you start looking at the different time frames, we're at the bottom of the goo channel, and every time we were at the bottom of the goo channel, the bottom was in. Even if it is a bear market, it's annoying, but I can't really deny this either. So that's why I'm coming on here telling you we can't really come on here saying this is exactly what's going to happen because it never ends up playing out that way. But you pretty much do bounce off of the bottom of this channel, even if it's bearish, which is why I would be disappointed if we bounce already, because then you can say, oh, look, it's still bull. Like, we won't know. That's why I don't know if that might actually happen, because like now everyone is saying they're going to short, and then if we go up to a high level, it liquidates all the shorts and then it goes down. That's why I would really sleep better at night if it just went down without going back up. Honestly, it would be really unfortunate if we just blew right up. But yeah, if we look at historically, we've spent the entire bull market over the middle of the line. Now we're on the bottom. So that could be the first indication that the trend has changed. Just like here, when we didn't want to accept, like, how could it be bullish already? And it was. But you didn't do anything for 7 months, man. So it's like, imagine we just did nothing for 3 months. Do you know how bad that would be? I think that would be the worst case scenario, because then the viewers would leave. You wouldn't know what to do. It would just be a nightmare. So that's why I hope we just get it over with. If it's going to go back up, go back up. If it's going to go down, just go down. So we could sleep peacefully. But I'm trying to find bullish indicators and I don't have any. So basically your bullish indicator would be, this is the first time this is going to happen. You know, but I can't come on here telling you, look, the first time ever, this is what's going to happen. Because MicroStrategy doesn't have the same argument. It's actually bleeding heavily. So it's kind of tough to start making shit out of thin air. Oh, MicroStrategy just printed a red bar. Last time you printed a red bar, the bottom was in. That's why if this ends up happening, it's going to be a fast bear market, which I don't think that's going to be possible, but it might not be. If this is where we are already, I'm not going to say there's a 0% chance because our Moonboy chart is in the exact same spot right here. So it's like, technically, if we just did nothing until February, I guess you could argue crash in March and April, May, because the summer's never bullish, man. And then you'd get one final sell-off, and then we'd just go right up. If I'm being honest, chat, I think we just got to get through the next 4 months. I think if we make it through the next 4 months, the rest of it is easy. Because, like, you're not gonna, like, if we go down again, you pretty much know, all right, this shit's not going up for a long, long time. So you don't lose any more money. It's times like now where people lose their money, myself included, because you don't know if it's going to go back up or not. Like, I know the experts do and the traders do, but me and you are regular people. So we're just like, kind of like, what do we do? You know? But I've lost so much money to where I can't afford, I already can't afford, I couldn't afford it 2 months ago, but I just stayed in anyway. I can't afford, if we go down like this, I would be eliminated fully, like full on. I would need Monster Reborn, but I already used my Monster Reborn last time. So I think my bearish bullish hopium would be if we just make it through to March. Like, if you don't lose all your money by March, you should be fine. Because even this says the bull run starts in October, which is exactly what the 4-year cycle says. But the 4-year cycle doesn't say it has to go down forever. It just means that the bottom is in October. But I mean, in 2018, we didn't go down forever. We only went down for 3 months and then we just did nothing. Like you literally went down from December to February and then you did nothing for 7 months. If this happens, I'm screwed. So we can't just come on here saying, yeah, this is where we are because that's what happened last time. Because last time, that's not what happened. So I think the worst case scenario for everyone, bulls and bears, is you just chop around like this until the springtime. But I would argue that if that does happen, it is bearish because the reason why it would be bearish is because the really, really, really large time frames that like turn bullish for a bull market, they would start getting confirmed one by one, you know? So like you have this. I mean, we had a legitimate bull run this time for Bitcoin. The last one was really shit. But you can see it just crossed to the downside. So I would argue that if we just did nothing, that is like super bearish because that's what happened in 2018, right? We did nothing for 7 months. This thing died and then bull run started. So if we just do nothing for 3-4 months, this is going to go down and then you'd have your crash. But listen, by the time everyone says it's bearish, the bear market's almost over. So that's why I'm just telling you, maybe, listen, maybe it's a freaking biggest bear trap in NBA history, but I'm not going to come on here telling you that because it's dangerous. Could you make a bull argument? I think for right now, you could, if the bottom is in, you could say we're in here somewhere because the RSI is in the same spot. And so is MicroStrategy. But the problem is you could have a local low and still not be in a bull market. And that's where everyone gets chopped up. But I'm not gonna put any expectations on because I don't know what it's gonna look like. But obviously we just formed some type of low. The question is anyone else's trading view slow? Because my computer is really slow today and I don't know why. I'm going to be really upset if something happened. ABCT on NASDAQ, need to stay off the back of the bus, fools. Don't get chopped up. Need to add grandma's basement onto the survey. I appreciate the 10. I appreciate the 10. That's the Trump Bitcoin, right? Is anyone else's trading view freaking out? Yeah, this thing's still holding up. You can see from the low up to the high, the 382 is holding at 442. So I would say if it ends up staying over 442, you're actually still bullish, but you don't want to ignore the structure that you're forming. It looks exactly like Solana. You got a big shoulder in May. You just had the head in August. So maybe we get one more spike, and that's why I'm saying if we do spike up to 105 and nobody, like it doesn't break out, that would be your final chance to exit before it goes down. So as long as it's over 442, I would argue that it is bullish, technically. From a technical perspective, holding the 382 is bullish. Once you break the 382, it gets sent to the 618. And you probably won't get a chance to get out. So I would obviously monitor Bitcoin. I think if Bitcoin spikes to 105, this will spike to $7. And then if Bitcoin gets stuck, then that's your chance to exit. If Bitcoin doesn't get stuck and it just goes up, then you just saw something you've never seen before. And that's the truth. And if that's what ends up happening, I have no problem admitting that something has never happened before, just happened. Because almost every single person is saying the same exact thing. We're here, we broke this, we broke that. So if we went back up, you would see something that has never happened before in this circumstance. Again, if you look at when you've broken the 8-day moving average, oh, this is cool. You get to make your own shape. When you've broken the 8-day moving average, what the hell? It would be cool if I could fill this in, right? How do I make a cool chart? I want to make a cool chart for the people in the back. Should be like this, no? Pretty much. But when you've broke this moving average, you never got back over it. I mean, if you want to say this, again, if that's what ends up happening, and I'll tell you that there were a lot of us that were like, yo, we're going to the moon right here. That's why, that's why I hope it doesn't happen now. Because if we shoot back up to 103, a lot of people are going to say, oh my God, it's going to the moon. And maybe it does, but I really hope it doesn't happen because that would be really bad. But I have a feeling that's what's going to happen because a lot of people are out now because we just broke the moving average. And then it could still be bearish, but we would go just high enough so everybody buys back in. And then it does something like this, which would be awful. So I think definitively to say it was the biggest bear trap ever, you probably got to get over like 107. Honestly. But what I was going to say is if it ends up being bullish somehow by a miracle, that's never happened before because we've never had this many closes below the moving average and it not be a bear market. Like you could say it went back over the moving average, but it was still a bear market. This you could say it wasn't a bear market, but you had a bear market crash essentially because everything went down 50 to 70%. This again, technically you went back over the moving average, but it was still a bear market. So what I'm saying is you never had, let me word it properly. You've never gone below the moving average and not had a 40 to 50% move down. That has never happened. The only time that happened, I think, was when actually that may have never happened. I think even back here was 50%. Yeah. So if we went down, oh, it was this one. I mean, that was 40%, but it was 35%. So I guess you could say you've never gone below the moving average and not fallen 50% except for one time. But here's the kicker, chat. Even when you got back over the moving average, the bull run didn't start for another 7 months. So you've never gone below the moving average and then gone back above it and just went to the moon. It's never happened in history without having a 50% crash, which is COVID. So you have to play the odds. Now, you have to respect the market too. I'm not going to pretend to be a Wall Street analyst and I'm sitting in the room saying, all right, everyone's out, let's do it. But does that seem likely to you? That's what you have to ask yourself. To me, it doesn't seem likely. If it happens, it happens. And I think it's good, personally, I think it's good that Doge is doing nothing. Because that tells me that it might actually hold up if it goes down here. It might not break the low. Which, by the way, if we do get a bounce, like you could see Doge bounced by a 2x back here. So you might still get a chance to exit. Again, like I said in the beginning, I don't think it's wise to come on here for anyone, but I'm only worried about myself and say this is what it's going to look like because we don't know. I think it would be nice, like I said 100 times, if we just went down one more time, then we would know, okay, you must short when it goes back up or you must not add any more money. But right now, there's a lot of people that are still adding money because if you're a bull, you could say, well, look, every time we come to this level, it's a higher low. And then if we close the week, which I have a feeling is going to happen, the sell signal goes away. So it's like, the bulls are back. And it's just that then you run the shit show. The shit show, what do you want to call it? It's like a washing machine. It starts all over again. So for me, I'd rather just watch and let the market decide what it wants to do before deploying any more money because I've lost too much money. And the thing that sucks about this is like the market gives you X amount of time to make your decision and then it just goes straight down or straight up. Like once again, we're sitting on the super trend, but it's like, how do you know you're not right here? You bounced for 3 weeks and then it went down. This is the third week now. Here, you didn't even get a chance. It just, you didn't bounce. It just went straight down. Here as well. You get 2 weeks to get out, and then it said, all right, you're not getting out, straight down. But that's why, again, I would love to see it go down, because then we'll be like, okay, now we can be bullish for a little while. In 2018, even, you broke the super trend, and then it was bullish for a little while. So, like, there is going to be a window for you to escape, depending on what you're holding. It's not just going to go straight down. For some people, like, some coins are just going to go down forever. But those coins that are going down forever are going to have really big bounces when we go back up. I just don't want to play anymore. You know, like, one of the coins that I was watching, I was actually going to buy. I already posted in the Discord, was Fog. So it's like, dude, by the time this coin gets the bounce, it's at fucking zero. You know? Like, this is not bull market festivities, chat. And it's funny because I actually had a box down here for the longest time, and it finally got hit. But this is not bull market festivities, where one of the biggest meme coins just nukes to the downside. There's garbage pails like Italian brain rot, just goes right back up to the high. But you got to understand that, as the Solana people would say, the trenches are always open. There's always people gambling. So if you want to enter the casino, you could. I wanted to buy this too, and I didn't. I wanted to buy it down here because I saw that Penguins guy made a video about it, Penguin Zero, and I was like, yo, maybe I should buy this. Of course I didn't. Now it's up 50x. So the Solana casino is always open if you want to participate. Oh, this scam coin went back up too, remember? We said this coin just goes up forever. It just made a new high. So it's just a never-ending cesspool. I think the Fed meeting is in what, 2 weeks? So now we just sit and wait. But the Fed meeting has been bearish every time for like the last 2 years, right? At least for altcoins. Wheeze Barney for 10 says, get yourself a nice Christmas gift from the Wheeze family. Doge is my 50x degen play. I appreciate the 10, man. That is awesome. I appreciate the 10. Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I'll get a leather jacket courtesy of Wheeze Barney. My man. Doge. This is the Elon coin, right? Yeah, I just saw it. I mean, this coin just going down forever. It's unbelievable. Oh my gosh, SPX is up 20% that fast? Oh my god, bull run's back. Just like that, we're back. Yo, APU is going to 0 too, man. We were looking for a move. Oh my gosh, it actually went down. Dude, remember we had this drawn? We were like, yo, it's gonna go down to 3 and then you could get a bounce. Ugh. I'm tired, boss. It actually went right down there. I don't know if you guys will remember, but we did have this exact drawing. It's too late. It's too late now. Yeah, some of these ETH coins are bouncing, man. But what was I supposed to look at? Doge with? Yeah, this coin already had a big bounce, so that's the problem. You know, it just did a 4x. Same thing happened in the spring. It did a 4x and then went to 0. So I think you could just apply the same knowledge. Just apply the same knowledge and say if it falls below the 382, it's going to 0, which I think it already did. That's the problem. Yeah, it already did. So I would actually say that this coin is bearish below 66. 67 basically. If it's below 67, it's bearish. And your final chance to get out, not you, but just in general, is if it falls below 45. Like Trump, 45. If she falls below 45, she's done. That's what I would say. So if you want to hodl, you could hodl over 45, but once it breaks 45, it's done. And technically, it's supposed to be done when it breaks 67, but it's a hopium channel, so we'll give you 45. I appreciate the 5. Or the 10, rather. Appreciate the 10. He's all bark, no bite. Here in my garage. We'll probably rally into the Fed meeting at least. I mean, at some point there is going to be a rally. It's just for people like us, which I'm not saying it's everyone, but for the regular person like me, it's just exhausting because it's like, well, if I don't sell, then it's going to go to 0. And if I sell, we're going to get a big bounce. And then if I buy back in, it's going to go to 0. And if I don't, it's going to go to the moon. And I'm just, I've been here long enough to know that I don't really care anymore. Like, I don't want to play anymore. So, you know what? Listen, if we break the all-time high, I just put my money into a shitcoin. But I don't want to partake, because even back here, man, Bitcoin shot up and the coins didn't even go up until like here. So if Bitcoin shoots back up to 120, all right, boss, I'll put my money back in. Will I leave money on the table? Yes. Will I leave money on the table if we go like this? I already left so much money on the table. But there's too many indicators that are suggesting that this is not happening. Because think about this, chat. Let's be realistic here. Even though we bottomed here, it still took 2 months to go up. So now you're moving the goalpost to January. So, and again, it's much harder to be a moon boy when you've broken support that only breaks in a bear market. Same thing with the goo channel. You broke the moving average and the goo channel. You bounced off the moving average and the goo channel. You bounced off the moving average and the goo channel. You bounced off of it. We're through both of them now. So it's like, I don't know if that's bullish. I don't know if that's bullish. Let me put it this way. It's never been bullish. That's the reality. It has never been bullish. Right? Once you've broken both, when you've broken both the moving average and the goo channel, the returns are as follows. Minus 68%, minus 58%. I'm not going to count this one just because you never exited. You stayed inside. This one was minus 60%. And even if you measure it, which you didn't break the moving average, you only broke the goo channel. So you only broke both of them here. It's 50%. Like you've never You've never broken both of them and not gone down 50%. So I have no reason to believe that this isn't the next move unless we go back up and make a new high. And that's why I'm worried, because I think chop would be the worst case scenario for everyone. Because if you go to the smaller time frames on the Goo channel, you're already at the low. So it's like, oh my God, we can't go any lower. And historically, that is correct. You can't go any lower. Every time you bounce off of it. So it's like, what do we do? Oh, here you just broke down. But we were so deep in the market here. I don't think we're that deep yet. So I'm not going to come on here saying I know, because I don't. Even here, you bottomed pretty much. So it's just, the only thing I could say is just, manage your risk if you want to. If not, do whatever you want. But we can't really say that there's really that many bull market arguments, because every bull market signal has pretty much been lost. You'd be running on the idea that, oh, well, everyone's saying it's a bear market, so it's not gonna be. But they say that every time. And remember, I was on the camp of those people last time. In 2018, I kind of had a feeling it was over. I sold my coins, but then I lost them anyway. I lost the money anyway. But back here, everyone was just saying it's bullish. So you're gonna have, you can't play that dumbass card, well, everyone is saying this, so it's not gonna happen. When half the people here are, not here specifically, but half the people in crypto are still saying we're going up again. Which I'm saying, I'm not going to say that it's impossible to go back up, but there's enough bear market signals for me to accept that we're not going back up. So if the bear market signals are wrong and we go back up anyway, then it is what it is. The signals that I used were wrong. And I'm only using 100% like like I'm not trying to show you shit that's iffy. Like last time, I just showed you random ass rubbish and it was wrong. This time around, I showed you legit shit, and the top was wrong because I said the top was here. But the old coins did top here, most of them. So this market cycle, I tried to only show you legitimate shit. And the premise was correct, but the targets were wrong. Because I thought Doge would go to $1. I didn't know the top was going to be 50 cents. Like back here, if you would have told me Doge's going to top in December of 2024, I'd like, yeah, I agree. Probably $1.50. No, 50 cents. I'd say that's not possible. And that's what we did. We like, this can't be the top. So it's times like now where you just got to place your bets. No more bets. No more bets. But then you look at MicroStrategy and you say, well, how could this be bullish? It can't be, but it is. It can't be. It looks like it's bullish for now until January. Like maybe the selling is done, but that's why I'm saying even if we do nothing for the next 2 months, that is super bearish. I guess that wouldn't be that bad. I'll actually take that scenario. If it's the end of January and we're still at 95K, I think that would tell us that the bear market's not going to be that steep. Depending on what the Bitcoin dominance does. Because here's something else that you'd have to take into consideration. In 2018, Bitcoin did nothing. Remember, I just showed you for 7 months, but the Bitcoin dominance went up. That's why it did nothing for 8 months. I don't know what it's going to do this time. So if the Bitcoin dominance goes down, but Bitcoin goes down, it just means that Bitcoin's falling faster than the altcoins. But then here's the problem if that happens. If this ends up happening, like some people are predicting, but Bitcoin falls by 50%, that sets you up for another bull run like this one. Because here's the thing, chat. You don't want to see that. We just sat through that. I shit you not, we just sat through that. This entire thing was the bear market, but the dominance went down, then it went up, then it went down, and then look at the bull run we had. So I would say you only want to see this if Bitcoin is going sideways or up. If we see this as Bitcoin is falling, that tells me the next market cycle is going to be even worse. Because then it's going to do this, and then the bull run starts again. And then maybe you get this, and then the next market cycle you get alt season. It's just brainstorming. I'm just scribbling. But I don't really want to see the dominance go down unless we're going up. But if Bitcoin is going down 70K and the dominance goes down, that's not bullish, because then you're doing what you did here and here, where the dominance went down, literally, oh my gosh, it's doing the same thing. The top was in November and the dominance bottomed in January. So it's like if we see this happen to the dominance as Bitcoin is crashing, that tells me the next market cycle is going to suck. Christopher 10 says I'm doubling down. I think we hit a new high end of December and into Q1, then another correction into July, then a giant blow off Q4 2026. If I'm wrong, I'll just hold and wait, and I'm a Wojak. I appreciate the 10. I mean, listen, I'm not going to come on here squashing any type of theories. Like, we're at that moment right now where you have to do what's best for you. Because you can go watch a YouTuber, he gives you all the bearish ass shit, and then you go watch another YouTuber and they're giving you all the hopium. That's just the nature of YouTube. But you specifically, if you're holding Litecoin, I think you should be fine either way. Because I don't see how Litecoin can go all the way down to $30 without Bitcoin going down to like 40,000. Because even with the liquidation wick, Litecoin is at the same price from 2023. So even if Bitcoin goes down to 40K, which not 40K, sorry, like 70K, you'll probably only go back to like $60, which is where you already were. And then you'd get another bounce. I really don't see Litecoin coming down here unless we really go down. Like, you would probably come down here at the bottom of the bear market. The fact that it's sitting up here for so long, you're probably all right, Mr. Chris. But that doesn't mean you're immune, because the same thing happened last time. Bitcoin hit the big move down, then the bear market came and Litecoin was in the same spot. And then when we went straight down, Litecoin went straight down. So you're doing that again. The big crash was in August. We were at $60. Now we're at $90. If this big ass crash comes, luckily it should only go to like $50, which is where it already was. But as far as a new high in December, I mean, I'm not going to squash it. Like, let's see. But I would say that if that doesn't happen and we're still down here in December, I think, again, that would ultimately be bearish. Because last market cycle, you had the initial move down and you just did nothing for months. Right? When you hit the bottom of the goo channel, you did nothing for months. And we're already at the bottom of the goo channel. That's why I'm going to say it again. I think the best scenario for all of us, well, unless you're holding everything, then obviously the best scenario is we go like this. But, well, again, obviously the best scenario for all the Moon Boys, myself included, is we go like this. But I think if it is a bear market, the best scenario for everyone is it just goes down one more time. Because then you know 100% there's a 0% chance it's bullish. even when it gets bullish, you still get a chance to get out, and then it's bearish. But if we do this from here, half the people are going to say, haha, I told you it was bullish. And then from here, there's a 50% chance it goes, or there's a 50% chance it goes down. Which is why I really hope that doesn't happen. I hope if it's bullish, we just go up and then everyone says you suck to all the bearish people. But I would argue that if this doesn't happen, it would still probably be bearish, because that's what always happens. You come to the bottom of this channel, you float around and do nothing. And that happened in 2018 as well. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be really messed up if we don't just go down one more time, or if we don't just shoot up again. I think the worst case scenario for everyone is it goes back up and then it comes back down again. Because then we're going to be doing this for God knows how long. Which it looks bullish at face value, but then you start looking at all the indicators and they already said the top was here. So it's like, well, how do you know you're not right here? But the bear market's not going to be that big. That's the problem. So the reason I say that is because you're arguing the top, we're going to make a new high in December. If that is the case, this would be the perfect bottom, because there's enough people out to where it's like, yo, half the market says it's a bear market, so that's the bottom. But again, if that is going to happen, I think it would have to happen now. And the only way that would happen is if we get back over the super trend by Sunday, the sell signal would go away, and then you'd have to get back over 104 in December, and then you could start another rally. Because there's enough people now that think it's a bear market, and there's also enough people that say it's still bullish. So it's probably 50-50. But I would say 100% if there's another move down. If we get one more move down, I am like 1,000% committed to finding a plan for down here. I'm already starting to work on it. It's in the early stages, but I can't really do too much because there's always that 1% chance it goes like this. And I don't want to prematurely do something and then that ends up happening. But something tells me it's going to be dragged out. We're going to come back up to the moving average, honestly, or even do something like this. But again, I think if we do this, it's bearish. So, listen, I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong, man. You got to do what's best for you. But I think in the big picture, you should be fine anyway, because you're holding Litecoin, which everyone joked about it. Like, same thing with XRP. But the fact that Litecoin's not doing anything is a really good sign. I mean, for all you know, let's just assume it's bearish for the set example. For all you know, Litecoin does a scam pump like this, and then Bitcoin goes down. Then you don't even leave the channel. You know, I think you're in a good spot, man. You should be fine either way. The only time you'd be screwed is if Bitcoin goes like this and Litecoin doesn't do anything. Then it's going to come back down here. But let's just say it's a bear market and Litecoin does this. Then you're running the argument that this thing has been getting accumulated for 4 years. Then when the Litecoin halving pump comes, you're already higher than you were both times. Well, no, this time you're here. But the rally started down here. So you could get a big bull run. But now I'm giving you hopium. So I think your argument, you could hold on to it. But I think personally, if we're still down here in December, which we already said that in October, then it's bearish, you know? Because we also said in the beginning of November, we don't want to forget that. We also said in the beginning of November that November and December are either really bullish or really bearish. Remember that? I appreciate the 10. That's awesome. In 2021, November and December are either really bullish or really bearish. In 2023, it's either really bullish or really bearish. 2024, I guess 2024, November was bullish and December was bearish. Maybe it was for Dogecoin. So there's the hopium right there. Now, now everyone's saying November's bearish, December's bullish. But that's gambling. That's a 50-50 shot. Because most of the time, November's bearish and December's bearish. Here as well, November and December were both bullish. So normally they both do the same thing. Here as well, October, November was bearish, and then the bottom was at the end of December, then we went up. This is the same thing. November and December were super bearish, bottom was in December. So you can make the case, well, the bottom's in December. Well, if the bottom's in December, that means we didn't bottom yet. And if we didn't bottom yet, we're going to go all the way to 80K, and then you're going to say bullish. It's like, brother, the top was 50% ago. If we went down to 80K, we would be down almost 40%. But the problem with going down to 80K is you'd be back to the same price after making a new high. That's not good. That's what happened here. You made a new high and then you came back to the same price and then it went to zero. So I think if it is a bull market, somehow the bottom has to be in. Because if we go any lower, again, if we go any lower from here, the weekly super trend is going to trigger for Ethereum. And every single time it's been triggered, we've gone down 30%. Every single time, forever. You don't have it yet. So if it's still a bull market, by the grace of magic beans, then the bottom is in. But I'm not going to say that, because every time people have said the bottom is in for the last 3 weeks, we've gone down. So that's like the biggest hopium I can even give you, and it's like fake hopium. Is we would get back over 94K, and then the following week we would be bullish, go back to 105, and then you're back in the cesspool of, do I buy in, do I not? Obviously, if you buy in, we go down. If you don't buy in, we go up. And crypto is just a never-ending shithole. That's where we're at. Fireman for 2 says how low for SEI. I appreciate the 2. I mean, listen, I'm not going to come on here pretending to be a know-it-all. I have no idea where the low is for this. But it's heavily dependent on if the dominance goes up or down in the bear market. If it goes down, then it's possible that this thing is just doing a up and down structure, and then the bottom ends up being like here somewhere. But if we go nuke and the dominance goes up, then this has to come down and fill this wick at some point. So maybe 6 cents. I don't even know what this is. I don't think I can buy this. But yeah, probably like 6 cents. But coins like this have been going down for almost 2 years already. So it's possible that something like this could bottom early too. I'm not going to push that narrative, at least not yet. But if we are in a bear market, it's possible that a coin like this may bottom early. It's very possible. Because we saw it happen last time. I mean, look at Litecoin. Litecoin bottomed on the first drop. So did Dogecoin. So did XRP. And unfortunately, it's going to haunt me for the rest of my life. But so did Floki. Oh, this chart doesn't show it. But Floki bottomed in June of 2022, which is where I bought it. And then I sold it, and then I did a 50x. So I have a feeling that Pepe could be like Floki, where Pepe has been falling for over a year. So I have a feeling that Pepe is going to bottom early too. But Pepe has a ginormous wick right here. So I would imagine it's possible that the bottom is at 3. But I'm not going to pretend to know because there's so many spinning variables. If ETH BTC goes to 0, then Pepe is going to blow right through this. Right back to 15. And this doesn't seem possible. Where it's like, well, it was already down here, so how could it do a round trip? Well, I'll go back to Floki and show you the chart again. It is very possible. That's what happened to many coins. They came out, they had monster life-changing runs, which I missed. Of course, they got rid of the chart, but Floki was here, and then it went like this, and then it came down. But I do think Pepe has a chance to be a Floki coin, where maybe Pepe bottoms early, it does nothing, and then it just pumps right away. Oh, Floki. Oh no, Floki topped in June. Yeah, so this was the real bull run right here. So there's really two tries to make money. You get the bull run to Bitcoin's all-time high, and then you get the bull run off the low. Everything else is bearish. But it's been like that forever. It's just there's more coins. So it's like we don't really see it. But even XRP in the first bull market ever, you had the bull run to the all-time high, and then it was super bearish for 6 months. Unfortunately, we have 100,000 million coins now, so it's just bearish forever. Oh, but yeah, I think if it's a bear market for real, SEI should come all the way back down here. And then if it's a really bad bear market, then you'll break this level. I know it doesn't seem possible, but it is. I'm telling you, we've seen it happen countless times. Look at this coin, EOS. 2019, it was at $8. It's still going down 7 years later. And then it's like, yeah, it looks like it's bottoming, but how many times has anyone said that? This is the bottom, this is the bottom, this is the bottom, this is the bottom. EOS is probably going to zero. So that's why me personally, I really hope we just go down one more time. Because then I would argue if we go down one more time, you can probably load up. Because the bounce is going to be massive. Because we didn't capitulate yet, but we're starting to. Like it's going parabolic to the downside. So if we get one more fat candle down to 80K, it might be worth it to take a stab at something. That's why I really hope we get it. Because then I'll be like, all right, what's the game plan? Because we're gonna wrap this shit up. I would argue, chat, that if we do get one more move down, the bear market is 1/3 done already. Because this was October, this would be December. Then we're gonna do nothing until March. Now you got fucking 8 months left. Literally. It doesn't sound that bad when you word it that way. It actually gets me a little bit excited. That's why I can really only hope we go down one more time. Because then the Moon Boy is extinct. And I could say, all right, what's the game plan? Because this is probably what's going to happen. It's not going to look exactly like this. But the reason I hope this happens is because it would set me up for my trade that I'm trying to do. Because every time, I'm not going to go crazy sharing everything, but literally every time, chat, we break the Gaussian channel to the downside, we go straight down. There's no hope. It just something happens. This time it was Roger Ver. Some of you probably don't even know who that is. I remember watching it live. Roger Ver and Craig Wright, I think. I think it was Craig Wright. It's Craig something. Maybe Craig Wright's a YouTuber. They forked Bitcoin Cash. We went to zero. It's like right on schedule. Remember this was Luna Classic? I don't know what this is going to be. But I really hope we don't break 80K. I don't think we will. I think if we go down from here, we're not going to break 80K. I also don't think that because, well, we're not going to break 80K on the first try. It's going to take a while because Michael Saylor's entry is also around 76K, which I believe Michael Saylor's entry was also, or his average was right here. It's almost like the market just places everything at the same spot, knowing what's going to happen. But if and when Bitcoin breaks like 76K, I think that's your one shot to just short everything to zero. But obviously, if we go back up, it kind of ruins that. So I hope we just go down from here. Because the extreme fear is at 10 right now. And I know that's being pushed on YouTube and X. Like, we can't go any lower. The fear's at 10. My brother The fear was in the same spot in February of 2018. And yes, we got a bounce, but it was still a bear market. And on top of that, you only got such a big bounce because you got such a big move down. We really didn't go down that much, so we can't be looking for a bigger bounce. Which is why I hope we go down one more time. Because then we'll know, all right, load up on whatever the fuck you want. Not financial advice. Get one of these. We'll bounce back up. And then that's where you know, even if you don't short this, if we break this, it'll already be March or April. So it's like the bottom, assuming this is the top, again, you have to respect the people who called it. But the reality is, if that is the top, then that means the bottom has to be here somewhere. Not just because it has to be there, but if that was the top, they got that measurement from looking at the bottom. So I could assume that the same thing is going to happen again. So the bottom would be here somewhere. So you don't even have to short the exact top. You could short the break. And it's like kind of interesting because this is very similar to this. So this here could be similar to here. And then the bottom would be like this. So it would be like 40K. That's what I think. I think 40 to 45K is the bottom. I know Mr. Cohen is saying 65K. I mean, we were just at 65K. Not even 8 months ago. I think it's going to be a little bit harsh. Maybe 50K, but I think 40K is fair. That's not even 70% down. That's why I'm actually going to get happy. Not happy, but excited to an extent, I guess, if it does roll over one more time. Because like I said 100 times, if you're a moon boy and we get one more roll over, I don't think anyone's going to be a moon boy. And you can't even say that's where the bottom is. Because, brother, you're already, that's it. If Bitcoin goes down here, ETH is going to go much lower to like 2,400. Again, then you'll get a big bounce, but you'll know the bounce is bearish. Because the S&P didn't even fall yet. It's still floating around. But once the S&P breaks, it's over. And the thing is, we don't want to ignore that MicroStrategy is telling us in advance. Not only did MicroStrategy top here, but it made a lower high and it started breaking down early too. So it's like if MicroStrategy rolls over again, that's another big warning sign. And so is Coinbase. And I don't know if you guys noticed, obviously it's too little too late, but is it if it goes lower? The ETFs made lower highs too. I don't even remember what they're called. Oh, this one didn't. One of them did. Oh no, it was Coinbase. Sorry. Coinbase made a lower high. I thought the ETF did. Hold on a second, chat. There's more than one Bitcoin ETF. This SBIT's not the only one. But I really hope we just get it over with. Because then you know, chat, believe me, if we go down one more time, you know it's bearish. Like, you know it's bearish. That's why I hope we just rip the band-aid off. Because think about it, if we go down, I'm just trying to give myself hopium. If we go down again, then we bottom here, there's going to be a lot of buyers here. You can try and trade your way through the chop, and then the bear market is 33% done. Then you can just sit in cash, wait for this. And for some people, you might be able to start getting in. Not everyone, but like I said, Floki bottomed here. Fat Boy bought the absolute bottom on Floki. If I would have just did nothing, I would have been a millionaire. But I always say that, and I'm still broke. So You got to make it to this point. So our June, you got to remember the top is shifted over. It's like June again, actually. So you just got to make it to the summertime. Enjoy your summer, and then we'll come back after the summer ready to go. Because that's what it is. The summer is always shit, man. This summer was atrocious. The summer in 2022 was atrocious. The summer in 2024 was god awful, bear market. Summer in 2023 was god awful. Summer this year, it technically was bullish for Bitcoin, but we all know that it was god awful, bro. Summer was atrocious this year. Ah, you could actually say the summer was atrocious, because technically spring is June 20th. Summer was atrocious, chat. Have we ever gone up in the summer? I don't think so. Oh, this one. This was the only good summer. You got one. Summer here was absolutely atrocious. This summer was god awful. Dude, I'm telling you, chat. I think we just gotta make it through March, because we know the summer's gonna suck. And then when the summer's over, it's bull market time. So just don't lose all your money before March. If you have all your money by March, I think you made it. Assuming we're going down. Obviously, if they do a 0% chance bull run and it ends up happening, then all the perma bears are fucked. If we go back up to the high, I wouldn't be fucked, but I would accept it. I would still take that shit. But I'm not going to come on here telling you that's what you should be looking for. Because like I said, even though my primary, what do you call it? I guess my primary thesis conclusion, that's what I meant to say, the conclusion. Even though the primary conclusion was incorrect, that this was the top, most of the market topped out back here. And the reason I say that is because I tried my best in this time frame to only give you legitimate shit. And I'm not going to come on here making up nonsense. There's no legitimate shit that says we're going back up. Even the tether dominance broke. Like, that was a pretty solid argument. Oh, look, the tether dominance is bullish. Like, we just pierced right through it. So I think you could even be here. But even this is saying the bear market's almost done. But it's not. But again, most of the coins, sorry, not most of the coins. There were some coins that did bottom here. So there's a possibility that some coins bottom here too. Like when we get that first move. But it looks like you're getting some type of bounce, which sucks. But you could also be here too. I'm telling you, it's going to be a shit show, man. There's going to be so many mixed signals. That's why I'm not overcomplicating it past this simple. Every time we do what we're doing right now, it's been bearish. If it's the first time it's bullish, so be it. There's nothing I can do. But every time we are where we are, it's been a bear market 100% of the time. So if we go up for a new all-time high, so be it. Can we get a bounce from here? Yes, you could. Could some people get really good gains on a bounce? Absolutely. But if it ends up being smaller than 108K, 105K, it's really bearish. But like even Doge is trying to have a bounce. But is it, or are we hoping? Like there's no bounce here. It just made another low today. And we're calling it a bounce. It's called Moonboy goggles. At least my Christmas candle smells good. We've had 30% dumps loads of times this cycle. Yeah, I know, but like I said, the problem is this time you actually broke market structure. Every other crash we've had, you did not break market structure. This is the first time that you did. That's why I keep showing you the same shit over and over again. Because remember back here, I was still hoping for the bull run. I was like, yo, if we stay over 103, it's still bullish. We're not even close to 103. If we go up 10%, we're still below 103. Maybe we're at 103. So I'm not moving the goalpost all the way down to 80,000. I had my one hope that the bull market didn't die, which was where it always bounces forever and ever. Even the crash in 2021, you didn't break the moving average. So that's why I would say if we really go down here and then we go for a new all-time high, I think that's the biggest bear trap in history. Because back here, you could literally see, oh, look, it's still a bull run. And it was. Here, it says every time you are where you are right now, 100% of the time, it's a bear market. So if we went up again, you just saw something that's never happened before. Or COVID, obviously. Again, I say that. So it is what it is. So sick of sideways trash. I mean, I think the worst case scenario here is sideways. Because it would appear bullish. I mean, it technically it would be bullish because if you're still holding altcoins, they will have nice recoveries. But how many people would actually get out? Because a lot of my altcoins that I had, like I didn't own them, but like the targets that I had, they're all getting hit right now. I mean, this shit is still going down. It might just keep going. But I've had this green box on FWOG forever. Same thing with Troll, or not Troll, APU. Remember we said APU should go to 3 and then you could get a big bounce? I didn't think it would happen this quickly. It went down to 39. But how many times have you had a big wick on APU and then everyone's like, oh, it's the bottom? That's why it's very important to watch these shitcoins. Because if these shitcoins continue to bleed, you know it's bearish. NPC refuses to go down. So I have a feeling that when we finally, or if we finally break down, NPC is just going to collapse. Like everyone's just going to sell at the same time. Because this thing is holding up extremely well. But you can't look at one coin and say, look, it's still bullish. This is like one of the few coins where it's not going down. Even Pepe broke down. Pepe is the best coin on ETH, or the biggest coin on ETH, I think. So I'm not going to come on here saying, look, NPC is holding up, so we're bullish. I can already see it. This is one of the coins where it's like when we're finally, when it's so bearish that the coins are just suffocating, I think everyone's going to sell their NPC at the same time. But we're not there yet because half the market's still bullish, half the market's bearish. And then the odd percent is unsure. Because if I were holding NPC, I wouldn't sell it. I'd be like, yo, I'm chilling. But unfortunately, I didn't buy NPC. I bought rubbish. So I'm broke. But same thing with Doge. Doge is kind of doing nothing. Like, it doesn't really look that bad. But it doesn't look that bad until the bottom falls out. Did the same thing back here. Didn't look that bad, right? And that's what's annoying is this is exactly where we are if it's a bear market. It doesn't look that bad. Right? It looks fine. Until it breaks down. So that's why I can't be like the smart YouTubers and tell you this is exactly what's going to happen. I'm trying to share with you as much non-rubbish information, even though it's not information, it's entertainment. Non-rubbish entertainment. I'm trying to show you as much as I can. Because I'm telling you, bro, when you go to zero, it's the worst feeling in the world. It is. Even if you have like nothing, even if you're down 90%, like I know that shit sucks, but just not going to zero gives you the hopium to push through. Like one day you'll get your money back. Let's see what the chat says. Yeah, see, 50% of the chat is still holding. To the moon, baby. Looking forward to XCN. Bro, I can't believe the rug pull that they just pulled off with that shit. Oh my, yo, dude, chat. I'm telling you, man, you don't think this can happen to you. You know the people in the back that say, oh, the coin's already down. The coin's already down 90%. It can't go down again. This coin went down 90. This coin went down 90% after Bitcoin already bottomed. Holy shit. So the bear market ended, and then this coin went through another bear market. Dude, it's bad. The Major General gifted 1 sub. I appreciate that a lot, man. That's awesome. I appreciate that a lot. Good morning, Dutch Elements. The alt season should have happened on the all-time highs for Bitcoin. Yeah, which is when it did happen, the fake one. But if you look historically, the real alt season happens when ETH breaks over the all-time high, and we never got it. It just never happened. It's unreal. It's the worst market cycle in history if you bought altcoins. If you bought Bitcoin, obviously it wasn't the best, but it was the easiest. I mean, even back here, it's like if you bought here, you got rinsed extremely hard. If you bought anywhere here, you just held and you made money. Obviously, 2017 was probably, I mean, the further back you go, then it's better. But I mean, even here, how many 40% drawdowns were there? This market cycle, you didn't really get any. Got the only bad one was this because it was so long. Even this, you just held for 3 months and you were good. 4 months. This was March to October. It's almost 7, 8 months. MRST or SPX 6900. I honestly don't think buying those coins is gonna work. SPX 6900 might not be around next market cycle. I think for someone of your caliber of money, bro, you're better off just buying stocks. Just buy like 5 Bitcoin, dude. Just buy 5 or 10 Bitcoin and just go to the beach. Genuinely. The button clicking is for the peasants like me. But I'm done button clicking. It's just too much for what? It was all for nothing. Yo, RSK for 10. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, dude. That's awesome. Helps a lot in times of despair. Appreciate that a lot. 100K subscribers soon? Nah, I'm not gonna get 100K for... I may never get 100,000 subs. That's why I gave up. Like, I've given up the dream. The dream I had for my life is officially dead. Now I make a new one. But I gained this bull run. I gained... When did the bull run start? Oh, shit. The bull run started January of 2023. I gained 30,000 subs. Almost. Yeah, I guess I forget. Yeah, I guess my channel almost doubled. I was at 43,000, now I'm at 71. So I gained 30,000 subs. So yeah, I guess next bull run I could get 100K subs, you're right. The reason why it's so shit is because December of 2022 I had 43,000. February of 2024 I had 48,000. But I might get 100K subs next time, but it's not on my list anymore. I don't give a shit. I gotta make a whole new plan for my life. Which is why you can't go to zero, because if you go to zero, you don't even get that option. You are like me, but 20 years younger. You think so? That's what I say to Subway. Subway's exactly like me, but he's a lot younger than me. But I don't know if he has the never quit. You know, that's the kind of shit that you have to go through some type of turmoil when you're young to give you that, and I did. If you have a good life, I mean, I had a great life growing up, but like right when I was about to turn into an adult, I just had the worst fucking time of my life. I don't know if he went through that. When you go through that, you just get this different attitude where I refuse to accept defeat. Some people just pack it in early. And listen, some people are better off packing it in early. Would I have been better off just packing it in early? I can't say that because I had everything I wanted. I just said, no, it's not, it doesn't feel the way I imagined. But I look at my YouTube earnings, I look at my portfolio, what it was, and I could have fucking retired, man. But instead, there is no retirement. But what's retirement? When you don't work? That's what I'm doing now. So it's like, even though I'm not retired, obviously, but retirement's when you're chilling in a good spot. I'm far from retired. But I mean, I got my YouTube channel, man. I got you guys. Dude, I'm so grateful for you guys, man. I thought about it last night when I went on my cope walk. Right now I'm pulling like 7 to 8 miles a day. And I said, you know how cool that is to log on to your computer every day and there's always going to be someone there? Like some people have nobody. Like, I mean, I know you guys aren't physically here, but at least I'm here talking to you. Some people have nobody. There's not a soul. And knowing every day I turn on my computer, I mean, it's not going to be forever. Once we go down again, I think half the people are going to leave. But just even having 100 people there every day, I know there's going to be some jabronis in the chat. That's a good feeling to have. And I never took it for granted. I think there were times where I just wish we would be done. That's why I always said, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, so we can just do something else. But I never really said, like, I don't like you guys. Never. I mean, some people, but I just banned them. If I didn't ban you yet, then that means I don't have a problem with you. If I really don't like you, I just ban you. You got to leverage that subscriber base and get some income. Dude, you guys don't understand. Integrity matters. Like, there's people. I remember my friend asked me, he's like, do you ever get donations? And I'm like, in my head, brother, the donations keep the fucking lights on. Like, if I look on my YouTube revenue breakdown, I'm not gonna say the percentage of it because I don't want to say it, but like, the super chats is what keeps me alive. Because like, if you go look at analytics online, it doesn't show the super chats. And that's why my channel is so unique, because you could look at big YouTubers and they might have a lot of viewers, but they don't really get any super chats. So I'm always grateful for my YouTube community. I guess it's because I am a piece of shit, but I'm not as much of a piece of shit as everyone else. But Dustin for 5 says, which sector do I think will perform the best? It's all going to zero, my brother. Echelon Prime, I'm pretty sure that's been going to zero for the last 2 years. I'm fairly certain that's a Cosmos coin, right? Echelon. Oh, Echelon. I'm spelling it wrong. I'm fairly certain this is a Cosmos coin. Yeah, my brother, my man, Jesus. Sweet Jesus. Who's gonna tell him, chat? You know when they say that online, who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell him, chat? This is 2022 and this is now. Who's gonna tell him, chat? I can't even look at it on here. Oh, it's Prime. Who's gonna tell him, chat? Who's gonna tell him, chat? So Bitcoin went from 15K to 100K and the price went down? What happens when Bitcoin goes from 90K to 50K? I think if you get an exit scam, you get the fuck out of there, man. Not financial advice. But this was the bull run from the end of 2023 to the, yeah, that was it. So I would say this coin is going to zero as long as it's below $1.50 and 250. If it spikes back up to 250, that's your last chance to exit. Now, if you get through and Bitcoin's running wild, then you got a chance. But if we can't get over 250 or 150, the next stop is zero. Personally, I think if this coin ever spikes back up to 260, you run for the hills. But I would say bearish below 150. I would say zero. As long as it's below 150, the target is zero. 50 cents would be next and then 30 cents. But if you can get over 150, you avoid zero. And if you get over 250, it's bullish. I appreciate the 5, man. But there's no such thing as sectors. Like the jabronis will say, well, the AI, you should have bought AI coins. I could show you 1,000 meme coins that did 1,000x. You just got to pick the right coin. But that's impossible. I just tried it 2 cycles. It's impossible. So next time I'm doing something else. I'm not even buying. I don't even know what I'm going to do yet. But I'm trying to make a plan. We tank if the market reacts negatively. To what? Glowman for 5 says, should I put 2K into Elon right now? I appreciate the 5. I don't think Elon's going back up, man. It might not even exist next market cycle. If you want to gamble on a big bounce, because it gets bounces, there's no question. But I mean, I don't, sure, why not? I would avoid Dogelon Mars at all costs. Could you get an exit pump back up to 11? Yes. Will it happen if we're bullish? Yes. Because even back in 2021, this is when I had it. Dude, I remember this. I traded this so well, I just never sold. If I would have just sold here, bought here, sold here, I would have had all my money back. And some people will be able to do that. That's why you don't want to give up. But even when we came down to last time, I was like, all right, I'm getting the fuck out of here. This is where I sold it. So it's like, it's gonna go up at some point if the market goes up. But if you're looking for a big ass bull run to like 10, which is like a 10x from here, I'd say it's not happening, man. So I would say probably not. But If it gets over 85, it's bullish, and if it gets over 11, the bottom is in. Appreciate the 5. Nav kicks for 2 says, do you think base memes will survive? If we go into a bear market, anything that's not in the top 30 is not going to survive until the bottom is in. And then when the bottom is in, whatever coins went to 0, they're going to go to 0 again. But I appreciate the 2. But no. If we go to 0, if we go into a bear market from here, I mean, look at Boomer. Was it Boomer? Boomer was a big ass meme coin. Rubbish. Again, Bitcoin was at 70K here. Now it's at 90K. And it was at Bitcoin was at 100K and this coin was here. So if Bitcoin goes to 50K, this coin is going all the way to down here. You know what I'm thinking to myself? I'm like, appreciate the 2. Let's look at this perspective for a second. What if we just pretend, like once we know for sure it's a bear market, which you've actually gotten enough signals, but we like to ignore them because we're moon boys. What if we just pretend that it's a bull market, but we turn it upside down? And now it's like you just buy short stuff. You know? Like, does this look bullish to you? It is making lower lows, so the downtrend is bearish, but you just broke the trend. So if we turn it upside down, it looks like you're doing one of these, which is what the bear market is. You know? So it's like if we just pretend we're moon boys forever, just turn the chart upside down. This looks like it's forming a local top, but if anything, you could come test it as support before going higher, which is 77,000. That's a bunch of rubbish, man. Let's just get this shit over with, please. I just needed to go down one more time so I could sleep at night knowing that the future is bright. I'll be right back. I gotta lose 100 viewers. I gotta pee. Isn't this a nice chart though? It's so simple. I really hope we just break down. Just get it over with, man. And we start preparing for the next bull run. Because like I said, man, if we break down, if you make it to March, the bull run starts 9 months later. Which 9 months ago was February. I wish the bull market would have ended in Q1. My life would have been better off. Hypothetically speaking. It's not good to play hypothetical scenarios because they usually never play out. So we only got what we got now. That chart looks so bearish. But that's the thing. The perma bears only show you charts that are bearish, and the perma bulls only show you charts that are bullish. This chart is neutral. There's no bias. If it looks bearish, that means it's bearish. And it does look bearish, but you could push the bullish argument that we're making another higher low. But every single time you hit this middle line, it gets pooped out. But you also have to accept that every time it hits the middle line, we go sideways. That's why I'm going to be pissed off if we go sideways. Even on the bullish end, you went sideways. That's why for me, the worst case scenario is we do nothing. Then it's like every night, oh my God, we're going to go back up. Someone said I sent you $2. Telcoin. Yeah, and that's another argument. The altcoins are holding up very well, but that only lasts so long, man. That only lasts so long. But Telcoin has actually remained over the 382 retracement. So, same thing we said last time. As long as Telcoin is over 52, it is considered bullish. If it breaks below 52, the top is in, and it should come all the way back down to 30. Which it's good that it bounced off the 618, but it's making another lower high, which is bearish. So I would say if you want to hold your Telcoin, it's up to you. If it breaks below 52, it's going to 0. Back down to 30. And if it gets over 73, it should keep going. So good luck. Appreciate the 2. Eat My Shorts gifted a sub. Says, appreciate that a lot, man. That's awesome. Better feeling when you're already out. I am thinking I can put around 20% of my USDC to something when we go to 85 and wait for a relief rally. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I appreciate the sub. I'll always be saying I wish I would have just taken out a little bit more, but I can't. I don't want to be saying the same thing in 3 months. I wish I took something out. Because I know that even if you take out something, you can turn it into something. I learned that from last time. So, like, I'm trying to look at it from a level-headed perspective. If we get a magic school bus pump and it makes a new all-time high, I have literally 300 coins on my watch list. And some of them might not go up, and it's possible. But if we don't go back up, every single one of them will go to 0. So what's the odds you want to play? You have bear market signals that only go off 100% of the time when it's a bear market. Or do you want to gamble on the you know? It's like gambling. It's not even gambling, because when it's gambling, there's like a chance, you know? If 100% of the time we go down, you're going to get in anyway just because? Like, I'm not saying you, I'm just saying in general. That's what I'm looking at. My heart wants it to go up, but my brain says, look at the chart. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. My brain now is saying we might go sideways for a little while, which is going to really suck. Which is why I really hope we go down one more time. I know I keep saying that, but it's imperative to my mental health that we go down one more time. But yeah, if we do get one more move down, then you could probably buy some shit for a really big bounce. Because, like we said 50 times as well, when ETH breaks this super trend, it goes straight down. So it's going to be difficult to time the bottom, but it goes down pretty harsh. I mean, 24%, 15%, 16%, 43%. So at the minimum, if we go any lower than where we are now, ETH should go to at least 2,400. And depending on where if ETH is at 2,400 and Bitcoin is at 80K, then that's probably the bottom. Because I really, again, I'm not making any predictions. I'm just showing you what has always happened. Historically, you don't break the Gaussian channel on the first attempt. You stop somewhere above the high. Same thing happened in 2018. You didn't break it on the first attempt. You floated around for a while. Well, you could argue on this first attempt, technically you broke it. But what I'm saying is, like, on the initial move down, you don't break it. I think even in 20, whatever year this is, right? The initial move down, you didn't break it. So, for me, I would love for us to go down, not break 80K. Because let me talk to you. Yeah. If we go down to 80K, the new narrative is going to be, look, we did this last time, we're bullish. And then we're going to get the bounce. And then it's going to be, I told you so. But we'll probably get stuck at the moving average because by then it would be curling down. And then you know that if you get rejected from the moving average, that's capitulation time. Cause if that happens, we're going to float around here. Like, by then it's March. And the bear market bottom, assuming this is the top, according to the analysts, which I'm not an analyst. According to the analysts, the bottom is here. So if we're still floating around the 80s by March, you're going to have to get down there pretty quickly. Which is why if we do this, I would actually be pretty excited. I might take a stab at some shit, like just buy something short and close my eyes. But that's why we're going to have plenty of time to make a strategy. Because there's like signals that go off that are never wrong. For example, like I don't know if everyone knows, we did all this in 2023. We made all of our bullshit charts. We talked about this last time, but I don't know if anyone knows, but when Tether capitulates, you know Bitcoin's about to go straight down. It happened in 2018. It happened in 2022. It's probably going to happen again. So if Tether capitulates, which again, it capitulates right when Bitcoin's about to capitulate. If Tether's capitulating, let's look at the dates. October of 2018, and it looks like May of 2022. October of 2018 and May of 2022. Look, Bitcoin broke the Gaussian channel. Bitcoin broke the Gaussian channel in November. So we'll know that if Bitcoin is floating around 80,000 here, and then we see Tether break down, this shit is going straight down. There's so many things we could look at. The M2 is another one. Like, I know people like to joke about the M2, but not every time, but towards the end, when I highlighted, oh, look, it says we should go up, I've always said if it doesn't go up, then it marks the end of the cycle. That also happens. But what also happens, which is why I'm showing you this, is the M2 starts capitulating. So if we see the M2 start to capitulate with the Gaussian channel breaking down, with the Tether dominance the Tether breaking down, like we'll have the signals to show, hey, we're about to go down, and we'll try and make some money. I mean, I'm gonna have to rewire my whole brain, which most people will, but we're gonna have a lot of time to do that. And then again, you just look at MicroStrategy, and it's very tough to make a bull argument. But as I said in the beginning of the live stream, MicroStrategy also capitulated once Bitcoin had those signals. So if we see MicroStrategy bleeding out again, Bitcoin, I think once Bitcoin breaks 74,000, that is going to mark the cascade. Personally, I think. I'm going to try and find the picture for you. I know I already shared this with you. But there's a image. Maybe I should like it, actually, so I don't lose it. Who tweeted it? Michael Saylor or MicroStrategy? Oh, Michael Saylor tweeted it. Beautiful. I shared this picture with you last time. But you can see, if you look at the chart, I wish I had a pointer. Look at May of 2022. The yellow line is Bitcoin's price, and the dotted line is MicroStrategy's average purchase price. Look at what happened when we went through it. That was May of 2022. We went straight down. So I think when we get to around 77K, we're going to go straight down, and that's going to mark the bottom. Or the bottom for some coins. Some coins don't have bottoms. Which again, I already told you that same time was when Bitcoin was when the M2 began to roll over. This is not the most accurate, like it's not the most useful indicator. You know, like you're not going to be able to spot on say, oh, look, because you could argue that this thing started going down when we were bearish already. But the point is, you will know that you're at the end of the bear market. That's my point. Like the end of the bear market is on the horizon when this happens. We don't have that yet. Same thing in 2018. Like it doesn't mark the bottom, but you know that you're getting close to the end of the bear market. But that's why we're using a bunch of shit. The M2, or not the M2, sorry, the GOO channel broke down May of 2022, right when Michael Saylor's entry price got hit, which is why I think, I hope we'd go down to 80K. His entry price is right here. We bounce, and then you could get a chance to short something, because then when we go down here, it's just going to go straight down. And then this is the bottom. That's why I said at the beginning of the stream, we just have to survive to this. If you can make it to March and not lose any money, you pretty much made it through the hard part. At least for me. Me personally, I lose all my money when the market goes sideways. When we go up or down, I really don't lose that much money. Obviously, I lost all my money. I can't even say I lost all my money here. I lost all my money here. Again, when the market is doing nothing. Because the shit coins go down, but you don't know if they're going to keep going down because it's like Bitcoin's going up, so why would they go down? And they went down. Now it's like if Bitcoin goes down, obviously your doo-doo coin's going down. Even here, how many of us lost all of our money on this? 2023, I lost all my money here. It's the sideways that kills me. That's why if we can go down one more time, please, the sideways will come in and I can get in and then send it down. And some of this shit might bottom here. Like, for example, Coinbase. Now, we can't assume the same thing is going to happen again. But, like, technically, if you just bought Coinbase at 50 bucks, yeah, the price did nothing for a whole year. But so did the altcoins. And then this coin just went up. And I have a feeling, because I'm looking at all this BlackRock nonsense. I don't follow the news. I think it's irrelevant. And I'm not saying that it is irrelevant. I'm just saying that I don't follow it because it's irrelevant to me. But I don't follow what BlackRock says. But every time I see these stupid posts, BlackRock's selling, they always send it to Coinbase. Here's another one. BlackRock deposits Bitcoin to Coinbase. So clearly they're using Coinbase. So Coinbase has to have some type of, I'm going to say the trigger word, cover your ears. Coinbase has to have some type of utility. So I would imagine if Coinbase goes to 50 bucks, I don't think it's going to go that low. I think like 70 to 100. Like, even an $80 Coinbase, I would take a stab at that. Crypto Crew University says new theory is 1 and 2 weeks simultaneous. Yeah, but I know what you guys don't watch the whole video, or you only listen to what you want. Crypto University's ending of the video says if you bought Bitcoin at any time, you were profitable. The people watching that video are not buying Bitcoin. They're buying Boomer. So his conclusion of if you buy Bitcoin at any time, you make money if you hold long enough, that only happens to Bitcoin. That doesn't even happen to Ethereum anymore. Because if you bought Ethereum here, if you took a shit, you didn't even get out. You're underwater again. So that theory doesn't even apply to everything. It's only for Bitcoin. And I didn't watch the whole video. I skipped through it, but he showed the moving average too. Like the whole planet is looking at this. But the reality is the whole planet was looking at the 4-year cycle and how many people ignored it. I ignored it. I'll be honest with you. But in my defense, which I'm not defending myself from you, my chart said get the fuck out here. And if I did, I would be so happy. But I wouldn't be happy. Because when I was here, I wasn't happy. All right? Okay? You're always going to give yourself a cope. Oh, well, if this would have happened, I would have been happy. I would have been happy here if I would have sold and I wasn't fucking 250 pounds. Then I would have been happy. But I was 240 pounds, so I wasn't happy. Now when we go down here, if I'm in shape and I got my life together, I might be happy again. Because I know that this is where it starts. Oh, sorry, not here. But you get the idea. So for the copesters in the back of the bus, you took a shit on the back of the bus. We can't make these hypothetical scenarios because they never play out. So, but the whole planet is aware of the 4-year cycle, but how many people are listening to it? Half the people in the chat aren't even getting out. And I'm not telling you to get out. I'm just saying that's what the poll says. Half the poll says you're holding for new all-time highs. So even if the simulation, as they call it, says the top is in, half the people don't even care. So just because everyone is saying this doesn't mean it's not going to happen, because half the people don't believe it. I personally have no choice but to believe it, because every time in my life I faded it, I lost everything. And even though I lost most of everything, the thing that's not talked about, chat, and I say this all the time because I learned my lesson, not only do you lose everything you have now, but you lose money that you don't even have yet. Let me tell you why. You buy Bitcoin at 40K and you say, okay, well for Bitcoin you can't say that, because technically if you just buy Bitcoin, you'll get the money back at some point. But let's talk about Jasmy the jeweler. If you bought Jasmy here, you never got your money back. So if you start buying Jasmy now, it's like, all right, I bought Jasmy here, but I'm going to DCA just because at some point I'll get my money back. So now, not only did you lose the money you had here, but now you're going to work and you're going to keep DCAing and continue to lose money until you enter a death spiral of, well, eventually I'll get my money back. And you might not. So that's why this DCA rubbish, it only applies to Bitcoin. And I think that's what Steve was saying. At any time, if you bought and held Bitcoin, you would be profitable. But no one's buying Bitcoin. Everyone's buying Pepe and Shiba. I'm going to get a spicy soft taco. Yeah, they're pretty good. You'll buy Coinbase and then another US will open and steal half of Coinbase market. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm buying Coinbase. I don't know what my plan is because I don't know what's going to happen down here. For all I know, I take out a godly short and get a lot of money back. Then I just buy Bitcoin. I don't know. But I'm not going to start planning for this if I don't even know what's going to happen. That's why right now I'm planning for what's happening right now. And right now it says don't do anything because my track history of doing things when it's unknown never ends well. So I'm doing nothing. What am I preparing for personally? I've seen enough to where I'm not in the market. And if it goes down to 80K, then I'll start making some moves. Because I would be shocked if we broke 80K on one try. Because historically, the bear market even, it's shrinking, but the first move down is shrinking too. This one was 50%. I think the one before that was 70%. So this one might be smaller at like 35 to 40%, which is unironically, even though it's supposed to be ironically, but I say unironically because we're Wojak, so it's not really ironic. Unironically, 40%, which matches the shrinking drop, is right on top of the channel. So, which unironically is right above Michael Saylor's entry. So me personally, I would love for us to go down to around 80K. Then maybe I'll try and buy some rubbish. I don't know. I don't even know. Maybe I'll do nothing. Because we'll know we're going to get some type of relief rally. And historically, the relief rally goes back up to the moving average. It happened in 2022. It happened in 2018. So, in order for that to happen, this would have to go like this, which is going to take forever. So we might sit here for a little while, which is why if that's the case, I hope we go down because then I could just do nothing until the summer or even the spring. And then I'll know, okay, we're going down now. But I'm not going to, as I said earlier, I'm saying the same thing over and over again because I'm trying to stress the importance that I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. I know some people on YouTube are, and they're much better than I am, but I don't know. But I'm not going to say that this is guaranteed to happen again because that's not even what happened the cycle before that. Yes, the general trend is the same, but you did nothing in 2018. If you sold and if you bought in 2018 in February, it was the same price 7 months later. That's not the case in 2022. If you bought here, 7 months later, we were down here. But the end goal would be the same. You would go all the way down here, which is why a lot of the bears on Twitter are already shorting and they're just going to hold all the way down here. But they're also good traders. I'm not. So why would I try and mimic them if they're good? But I can even see every time we go down, we hit the moving average first. Maybe it doesn't happen this time and we just go straight down. That's fine. Get it over with quick. I like it. Because I think, I mean, at some point, my FOMO is gonna kick in. Like if you saw MicroStrategy back at $50, it's like you almost have to FOMO in, even if it goes lower. You just have to put something in there just in case. And I already hear it. Oh, it's impossible. It can't go that low. That's what I said about a lot of shit, and it went down there. $50 is pretty low, but why can't it go down there? Because you don't want it to? I don't want to, because I said, and that's the bottom line. It can't go down there because I don't want it to. I would make the argument that it would go down there because look at all the instruments that they have now. MicroStrategy has like 5 different tokens. So what if you need money to get that token? You got to sell MicroStrategy. It could happen. I have a hard time believing we're going into a bear market when QE's beginning in December. Did they say QE's beginning or QT's ending? Because they're two different things. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Mr. Cohen pointed out that QE started when? QE started in August. I'm pretty sure the coins were bearish until January, which is 4 months later. Chat. 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 QE began in August. And what did ETH do from August? 40% to the downside. I'm telling you, man, the hopium is running wild in the streets of Detroit. It's not what you think it is, man. It's going to be bad. If we go down from here, it's going to be bad. I just told you QE started in August and we went straight down. So this nonsense is just unfathomable. Every time we cut rates, the top is in. If you learn anything from this cycle, is don't listen to YouTubers because none of them have a clue. I wouldn't go to that extreme, but your base case is correct. And I'll use myself included in that. But I openly tell you now, like, dude, I'm just another jabroni. Don't listen to what I say. Like, you could listen to what I say and apply it to your own thesis. Don't listen to what I say and close your eyes and say, all right, he's doing this, so I'm going to do that. That's what I used to do when I first started. Because you go on YouTube, you see a guy, he's got 70,000 subs. Like, all right, he seems to know what he's talking about. But that's what YouTube is. Mastering the art of knowing what, mastering the art of looking like you know what you're talking about. I could give you a bunch of rubbish right now and people be like, holy shit, this guy knows what he's talking about. And it could all be wrong. That's why I always preface now, like, I'm just another idiot with a microphone. So you can listen to YouTubers and take what they're saying and see if it makes sense. But don't blindly follow them. That I agree with. Because most of the people on YouTube after this market cycle are a bunch of jabronis. Most of the jabronis that are really big bought in 2017. They put in their $1,000 from lunch and they bought Verge before it did 1000x. Unfortunately, me and you have to try and buy dog with hat. The problem is there's 10 of them. And now next market cycle, there's going to be another chain that comes out called Dinky. And then on Dinky, there's going to be 1,000 meme coins. It's over, chat. Mission failed. Get ready for the next round. All right. I can't gamble anymore. I had it, but I only made money because I traded. So that tells me that I could try and trade my way out of here, but I'm not doing it the way that I think with the leverage and all of that shit. I have to do it the way that I can, which right now I'm not doing anything. But mission was a failure. Get ready for the next round. Read my comment. Oh yeah, you sent two. Riser for 2 says Bollinger Bands are a great tool also. I don't know. I'm not really gonna go. I mean, I know they're useful, but I'm not going down the rabbit hole anymore. All the indicators that we had from even the hash ribbons don't even work anymore. It just died. It's stuck. Look at this dude. Even the hash ribbons just stopped working. Everything is breaking right now. But actually, I think the hash rate capitulates too. When we're about to go straight down. Hold on a second. But yeah, Bollinger Bands is very popular. Yo, yeah, we broke to the downside. Yo, that's fuck you bearish, man. Is that not bearish? We're outside of the Bollinger Bands for the first time. Come on, man. Wait, have you ever closed a candle outside of the Bollinger Band? Look at this dude here, but then you went right back in. Yeah, I don't think you've ever closed outside of the bottom in a bull market. Well, it looks like you closed and then the next candle was green, but we already had that chance. We said we had to have a bullish engulfing candle, and the next candle was. This is the first candle, man, that's like floating outside of the band. Dude, that can't be bullish. You broke to the downside. Have you ever had a floating candle outside of the band? This one was touching. This one was touching. You could say here, but this whole candle was inside the band. I don't think you've ever had a candle just floating outside of the the band. I'm only looking at the bear markets. Okay, this one was floating, but you touched it. You almost touched it. But this is a bear market. Yo, Chad, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say if we don't go back up by the end of the week, we're about to go straight down. There's never in NBA history where this is the first time. Unless the rally for the week is not done and we go back up to 97K, this candle is floating in the middle of the ocean. Good luck, chat. This is the first candle in the history of the NBA during the shot clock era. The candle is not touching anything. So there's two things to be said. Either the bottom is in and we're about to go back up to 98K, or this is fucked. This is like the movie Open Water that came out in the 2000s, where they just spent the whole year. That's what we just did. They just floated around for 2 hours and then they died. Spoiler alert, I think. I know one of them died. It's just floating in the ocean, waiting for the sharks to come. It was a good try. I'm surprisingly in a good mood. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm trying to be optimistic. Because if I don't, I'll just go into a dark... I'm not using that word. I'm not using the word that starts with a D. Not even gonna get the 98K bounce. Is that what you're waiting for before selling? David B, where have you been, man? Sell what? I've been in cash for a little while now. Because I lost too much money. Unfortunately, I tried to do something stupid and I lost even more money than I should have, which is always what happens. That's why I can't do anything. Not even gonna get... I already read that. At first, it seems bullish. It's alright, man. It's always bullish. Gold might beat Bitcoin next couple of years. No, I think the top for gold is coming soon. I mean, I'm not an analyst, so I don't know. But we talked about this a couple of streams ago. Bitcoin falls versus gold for around 400 days, and then it reverses. But we can't have that happen if Bitcoin's in a bear market. So two things can happen. Either Bitcoin's about to go into a bull run or gold's about to crash. So which one seems more likely? If we really get a bear market, nothing is immune. Dude, there's like videos of people lining up outside to buy gold. You're telling me that's bullish? The top for gold, I'm not an analyst, so I don't know where it is. But if I had to bet my money, gold is going to pull back around the springtime. Because that's where this chart expires. It's like 400 days. I mean, maybe it happens before that, but Bitcoin versus gold usually is bearish for 400 days. And we've already been bearish for 300 days. So gold will probably crash in the springtime, right? That's what it is. Doesn't have to happen. Maybe it doesn't. God, I thought you were still in. Nah, ironically, if I did just hold my coins, I'd still have more money than I do right now. But I always say that. Like, I'm actually at the point where I'm tired of just losing all my money. So from now on, which is how I made all the money in the first place, I just I'm focusing on gaining USD instead of gaining coins, you know? Just because we didn't want to miss old season and now we missed everything. So now my focus is just making money, not getting more coins. Because now we know old season is a myth from the old timers. Because I don't give a shit what anyone says, man. I was here for 2017 and I was here for 2021. This was so much more euphoric than this. Like, yeah, I bought the wrong coins, but brother, in 2017, there was no wrong coins. You bought anything 100x. In this market cycle, it was very easy for a lot of people. You just buy Doge. But there were people that bought coins with utility, like me, like Cosmos, and I got a 3x. This time, if you bought anything, if you bought anything that wasn't Pepe or Bonk, you got hosed. So 2017's euphoria was way better than this. And this was obviously 1,000 times better than this. But I had a better bull run this time. So I'm going to take what I learned this time and apply it to the next market cycle. And I'll be all right. Am I going to be rich? No. Am I going to be a millionaire? Probably never in my life. Can I get my money back? I think so. If I could get my money back and not be 250 pounds, I'll take it as a win. Because 2 years isn't that long. I think if we're really going into a bear market, it's only going to take 2 years to get the money back. Because it would be 3 technically, but it's 2 years from now. Because like I said last time, this is where all the money is. The rally back to the high. And that doesn't happen on the 4th year. It happened in 2020 the first time. It happened in 2023, 2024 the second time. And in 2017, it happened in 2017. But you can't even really say that because the rally was the summer of 2016, which is the halving year. So, in my opinion, for us to get our money, I think the rally is going to be before the halving year. Or sorry, it's not going to be in 2028. I think a lot of people will get their money back in 2027, which is 2 years from now. So, can I suck it up another 2 years? Guess I don't have a fucking choice, do I? Get fucked. But whatever the hell I just sat through is the worst. This was the worst experience of my life. I would not recommend this. But just in general, well, David B had a very similar experience, but like I don't think it could get worse than this unless something bad happens to us, obviously, which is always possible. I could get hit by a car or shot. That would be the worst case scenario if I got shot. But assuming the control variable of living in my bubble, nothing happens to me, I hope the worst is over, but I know life doesn't always go that way, so it could always be worse, is what I'm saying. Is 10K enough to move states, get a place, and start grinding? If you're at 10K, it's enough for crypto, but I don't think you can start a new life on 10K. I guess it depends where you live. But if you don't have to move and you're okay where you are, I would just keep the 10K. Because 10K, obviously it's not a lot to like the wealthy people and the rich people, but like if you're struggling and you can make it work, I would save the 10K. Because 10K on Pepe after the bear market. Yo, who's to say? Did MicroStrategy go back down? Oh my gosh, it went back down anyway. Who's to say that Pepe doesn't fall another 50% from here and then bottom? What if Pepe falls to 20? Now your 10K has the possibility to go all the way back up to 100K. That's why every dollar counts. I know 10K is not a lot to a lot of people, but when you don't have it, it is a lot. Like when you have hundreds of thousands of dollars and someone says, I need 10K, you give it to them, no problem. But when you have nothing and someone says, I need 10K, it's like, so do I. But I have a really strong intuition that Pepe will fill this wick. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I think it's going down there at some point. Unless, again, we get a magic school bus bull run and it just teleports like this. I don't even know how that would be possible. Because ask yourself this. Now the bull run is extended to April of 2026. Do you really see that happening? It doesn't look realistic. It looks more realistic. I mean, obviously at this point it's too late. The shoulder and the head and the shoulder are already there. It looks more realistic. Maybe it goes down a little bit more, then you get a relief rally, and then it goes down here. You don't think this looks realistic? This is exactly what Floki Inu did. So if you have 10K, you just sit in cash till Pepe comes down here. Close your eyes and say a prayer. Because, chat, off the bull run low, Pepe was bullish. There were a lot of people that made a shitload of money off the bottom. I wasn't one of them because I bought a bunch of rubbish. But remember there was a guy that came to my chat that bought INJ. He vanished. I don't know where he went, but he bought this piece of rubbish and he got all of his money back almost instantly. So there are going to be coins that explode out of here. I just accept after my tenure in crypto that I'm never going to find it. Not ever. So I'm going to stick to the basics, which I'll figure it out. Robinhood must be listening. He's usually not this negative. You talking to me? Can't miss what didn't happen. Have I checked your picture in the Discord? You will need a miracle for them to come back. Some of them will come back. Oh, I was gonna look at the hash rate. Okay, so the 3 years ago was when? Oh my gosh, that was where the bull market started. Dude, we've been going up for 3 years already. Holy crap. Time is flying by. I want to say that when the hash rate capitulates, you go down for the bottom. But I can't see. That's not true. It's not always true. Yeah, it's not true. Okay. Rate cut likely moved up to 50%. I mean, I think it would be too easy if we just went down, but I hope it happens. Please. Just go down now. Because we're sitting in glue. We're sitting in the middle of goo. Yeah, but I think MicroStrategy printed a sell signal. Or it's about to. Yeah, it was on the 3-day. So we marked the local bottom. So it's officially the beginning of the end for MicroStrategy. I don't know, man. MicroStrategy has so much Bitcoin though. I don't know. Do we take a gamble? I guess if MicroStrategy goes below 70, I'm just gonna start FOMOing in. Even if you just get 100 shares just as a flyer, or 10 shares, or however much you can afford. Right, and it goes back to the high. Yeah, I guess a DCA into MicroStrategy at 70 bucks. Just hope for the best. Because that's getting close to 90% drawdown. One thing is certain, Bitcoin will go up forever. Yeah, there was a chart that had there's a chart that had their holdings, or I had the chart. Is it this? Yeah. MicroStrategy has more Bitcoin than almost every other company combined. 650, you got 90, 120, 150, 175, 195, 220, 230, 240, 250. Dude, they have more Bitcoin than everyone. Oh, Coinbase only has 14,000 Bitcoin. That's weird. MSTR, baby. Yeah, all these other stocks didn't even go up. He says MSTR, baby. Yeah, but my only concern with MSTR is all the extra rubbish they came out with. I don't even know what this is. Stark? Tony Stark? Straight down. Can someone explain to me what this is? STRK? It's got a 50 billion market cap. Is this going to impact the price of MSTR? It's called strategy now. Well, they changed the ticker then. Because it says MSTR. MSTR. Oh, it says strategy, but they should get rid of the M. Nvidia will probably go straight down tomorrow, regardless of earnings. Well, that would tell you that it's definitely over. So what's on my foot? Oh, don't pull that, that's for sure. Everyone who's saying rate cuts are bullish, I don't even follow that shit anymore. Dude, every time we have an FOMC meeting, we're lower than we were prior. Let me run this by you, chat. Chat. Look at this. Look at this dude. So Robinhood came out in 2021 and it rugged all the way to the bottom of Bitcoin. And then it went sideways. And I believe the Russell 2000 bottomed in November. And then it had a big bull run. So could it be that Webull is now going to do the same thing? Because Webull is pretty much a competitor to Robinhood, and it's doing the same exact chart. Even though Bitcoin didn't top in April, Robinhood didn't top in August either, but it's rugging. So this is telling me that the market is bearish. So I guess if we see Webull doing a bunch of nothing, you could take a gamble on Webull. Because the market cap is 4 billion right now. So that means if it goes down by 50%, it would be 2 billion. Then if it goes up by 20x, it's back at 40 billion. And that's pretty much what Robinhood just did. No? Robinhood is at 100 billion. So it started out at 5 billion. Could be a gamble. Could be a gamble. Waiting for Trump and Powell. Weeble sucks. Why does it suck? Does it actually suck? Or the stock? Weeble sucks. It's gonna be a brutal one, boys. I don't even think the RSI is oversold. Oh, that was another thing. Oh, it was. Okay. That was another thing I wanted to share with you. We made a lower, we're making lower lows on the RSI. That's not bullish. This is actually showing weakness in the market. In the bull market, when it's really bullish, you're making higher highs and higher lows. This was the first sign of weakness, and that's when altcoins stopped going up. See, we did the same thing in 2021. You were making lower lows on the RSI. So the bear market is knocking on the door. The question is, are we in one already? And that's up to you to decide. I've made my decision. I cannot lose any more money. Yeah, see, look, bear market. It's not bullish, chat. We just made a lower low on the RSI. Which in the short term, at some point, it will be bullish, but yeah, you made a lower low on the RSI. Yeah, this one's bad. I mean, let's see. Let's take a look. Every time Bitcoin has come to this level, where are we? Bear market, COVID, bear market, bull run, 2015. So this is the bottom or it's a bear market. But we already said that at 103K. So can't keep moving the goalpost all the way to 0. So that's where we'll leave it, chat. All right. You gotta prepare however you see fit, because everyone's gonna give you a different story. For me personally, I can't afford to lose any more money. So if we go back and make a new all-time high, then I'll figure something out. If we go to 0, at least I don't lose any more money, hopefully. But we broke the weekly moving average. We broke the Gaussian channel. We broke the super trend. On the 8-day time frame, you were potentially doing the same thing. You broke the Gaussian channel and the moving average. There's no question. If I show you every time that has happened, this will be the data. Every time you've broken both of them. I think I showed you this before. I hate that I keep using the wrong fucking exchange, man. (2018), 2020, 2021. So again, the thing with YouTube and Twitter is like permabears show you stuff that's always bearish. Permabulls show you stuff that's always bullish. I'm showing you stuff that flips both ways. Every single time we broke from the outside below the initial channel and the moving average, these are the outcomes. So maybe it's different this time, but maybe it isn't. And I learned my lesson enough to not look for reasons for it to be different, because it's never been so far. If you want to say COVID, fine. You still fell 50%. Now, the beautiful thing about this is the same thing is true in the other direction. When we didn't want to believe it was bullish, it turned bullish. You broke over it to the moon. In 20, whatever year this is, you could say COVID was the fluke. You could say COVID wasn't the fluke. But the reality is the bull market had started from 3,000 once you broke over both of them. In 2015, once you broke over both of them, the bull market had started. So this indicator I'm showing you, we never made it to the bottom this time. So we'd have to use this, which isn't the best sample size because it's already changing the data, so we won't use it. But the indicator works in both directions. It's just we don't want it to be happening now, so we don't want to believe it. So all I'm saying is, could you make the case that a new all-time high is coming? You can always make that case because it's Bitcoin, but this specific data does not support that. So if you want to bet that a new high is coming, I'm not telling you not to do that. Maybe it happens. I'm not going to say that it is. But we'll monitor the situation. But that'll do it for today, chat. I do appreciate all the super chats, all the support. As always, none of this is financial advice. Listen, we've been killing it with the live streams lately. I've been getting high 200 viewers every day for the past like 2 weeks. Past week. So I know this isn't gonna last. It's just because there's a lot of fear. But shout out to the freaking viewers, man. You guys are keeping the lights on. That's what I like to see, baby. Super chats are doing good. I can't complain. Seriously. Like, considering the circumstances. I mean, my chat revenue has been dying since November of 2024. But I don't know if you noticed, but my portfolio has also died. So I can't complain for the chat revenue. But all right, chat. We'll be back tomorrow. No, not Ngoyan today. His negativity was not missed. So enjoy your day. We'll be back tomorrow. As always. Oh, wait, don't go yet. I forgot to shill. Son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Chat, please, if you haven't subscribed to my food channel. We're almost at 500 subscribers. Should have said it earlier, but now I lost 100 viewers. I made a new video today. Taco Bell spicy taco. It's not bad. Recommend watching the video. If you could, just watch every video. Maybe it's before you're going to bed or taking a shit or whatever. Just let the phone play in the background with the sound off. Trying to get my, I was going to say trying to get my YouTube plaque. I'm trying to get monetized. I'm not even close. But we're trying to get to 500 subs. So, Hugo for 5. I appreciate the 5, man. That is awesome. I appreciate the 5. Funny Frenzy says, bro is down bad. Let's see, what has he said? Alright, he's not a troll. He's just a random jabroni who drives a Jeep Cherokee. Alright, chat. We'll be back tomorrow. Hugo, appreciate the 5, man. Maybe I'll buy a McRib. Should I do a McRib food review tomorrow? I've never had a McRib before. Maybe that'll mark. There's no bottom, bro. Stop eating Taco Bell. I'm almost done with Taco Bell. I got 3 more videos coming out, and I think I'm done with Taco Bell. No, I'll never be done. Forever. You guys called it, bro. I'm trapped. I'm here again. Time to do another cycle. So, enjoy your day, wherever you are. Appreciate the support. I already had a Crunchwrap Supreme. It was terrible. Breakfast Crunchwrap. Wait, I thought I had a Crunchwrap Supreme. I guess I guess I didn't. How? I'm pretty sure I had that. Did I not upload it? What the hell? Maybe I didn't buy it because it was oh yeah, it's $7, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Dude, that's $7. I guess I never had that. Yeah, maybe I'll try that. I told you, fool, you'll never escape till you're actually 40. Well, you know what, David B? Maybe I gotta change my perspective and I may never escape, but I don't have to suffer. Maybe crypto will be a part of my life forever. But at least if I'm 40, you'll be here with me and you'll be older, fat boy. Just know that when I'm 40, you'll be. Oh, no, sorry, you won't. Damn it, I gave it away. Sorry, it slipped. Whoops. All right, chat. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Appreciate all the support. I wouldn't be here without you. I'd probably be somewhere in a better place. No, I'm just kidding. You guys gave me everything I asked for and I threw it all away. So now I get to start over and build again. So I'm very thankful for my YouTube channel. Cheers. We're back on the diet soda grind because my blood pressure has done nothing but go up, even though I lost weight and didn't drink soda for a whole year. But my heart pounds out of my chest because my life, and that's life. So enjoy your day. None of this is financial advice. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for all the support. Check out the food channel. Did you sub? Nice. Bye.